This is the time of year that many of you are probably thinking about building healthy habits, and it can be very daunting. So I thought over the next few weeks I would just share a few techniques that can help build healthy habits. So let's say, just in a very vague, too vague and general way, I want to do more aerobics. How am I going to accomplish that? So first of all, I'm going to think about using the S.M.A.R.T technique. So S.M.A.R.T. So that's specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and within a time frame. So if I was to take this aerobics general goal and use the S.M.A.R.T techniques, I would think, first of all, okay, so what can I do? I just read a Washington Post article about some very silly scientists who took from Monty Python, from the Silly Walk ministry skit that they do, they checked to see if that silly walk is actually aerobic. And yes, it is. So I'm going to take that and turn that into a S.M.A.R.T goal. So specific. I am going to watch the silly ministry walking video twice over breakfast. So I have an idea of what that looks like. Then in my hallway, in my upstairs hallway, every time I walk up and down it, let's say before 5 o'clock, before dinner time, I am going to silly walk backwards and forwards anytime I'm in there. That's going to be my walk. So I've got something very specific. Is that measurable? Yes, that is measurable. I know if I'm doing it. Is it action-oriented? Silly walking? That's an action-oriented. Realistic. I can physically do silly walking, I think. I'm in a home office, so I do go up and down that hallway, so I will actually have opportunities to do my aerobic exercises, silly walk. And I have a bit of a sense of humor that likes Monty Python, and just, it might inspire me to do it because I'll think it's funny. So yeah, realistic. Time frame. So I already thought, okay, morning and afternoon before dinner. I have the frame of it being in that hallway. Maybe I'll put a very specific time frame and say I'm going to do this from now until Sunday. Sunday morning at breakfast, very specific, I'm going to sit down and measure. Did I actually do silly walking? And I'm going to think of this not as, oh, I succeeded, I failed, not any of those kinds of thoughts. I'm going to think, okay, here was this experiment that I did. Did it work? If so, why and how can I continue it? If it didn't work, does it need a tweak, or it just didn't work for me and I need to do something else? No success, no failure, just looking at it. So that is the S.M.A.R.T technique. It's one way you build for the very specific thing that you're doing, not for the big, vague goal of aerobics, but for the very specific thing. I'm only working about, can I silly walk down the hall? And that's it. So I will continue to do a few more of these videos. And if somebody is interested, you can always email me, ask me questions, or if you would like, you can also email and arrange a time for us to either have a free 15-minute consult or a longer consult and actually start to build for you a very personalized health plan. So have a good weekend, have a wonderful New Year's, and I will see you again next week.